Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Detroit Driver Blue, Julian's Detroit Driver Blue channel for Detroit market rideshare drivers. Um, this is the channel that is aimed to promote a little unity, promote a little um, pointers, some hints, some guidance, whatever I can do to give you my perspective from a non-expert driver. We've been out here doing this a little while, as you know from some of my, if you've watched any of my other videos, they're highly exciting since I'm a new guy at this. Everybody's a new guy at something. Anyway, happy post Thanksgiving time frame. That is happy Black Friday. And so I wanted to recap tonight's events real quick. I had a couple things that were really notable that I wanted to definitely call to attention because they can happen to anybody, and they definitely happened to me. I mean, it sounds silly, but I didn't think it'd happen to me anytime soon, and sure enough, it did. Did very well last night, or I'm sorry, I did very well on Thanksgiving Eve day into the night, which is like the prime, was supposed to be like the one of the busiest bar nights of the year. Did very well. Did Lyft and um, Uber, and well, we'll just say I made just less than 300 on Uber, and I made 50 something, around just over 50 with Lyft. But as you can tell, I've been part-timing it and sort of taking it easy a little bit, getting out of my sort of a rut that I'm trying to break out of. I felt good on Wednesday evening, taking back sort of a more of a full-time approach to my Uber driving, and really felt a lot of confidence, and enjoyed being out here. Met a lot of people, awesome people, both Wednesday night and tonight. Uh, Blackout Friday, and into Saturday morning, which I've decided to wrap up somewhere around 4:45 is when I got off the app. I started early. I took care of some things, visited some friends of mine around midnight or so in the downriver area, and sort of came back up into the Royal Oak area, which is usually where I start. But anyway, tonight I did well. I did 57 on the Uber app. I did not do Lyft tonight. But let's go back to Wednesday. So Wednesday, the highlight of Wednesday was I had two people who knew each other well, a guy and his brother-in-law. It was the first time in a while that somebody got angry, and it was like one of the brothers, or like one of him, like what the brother-in-law began yelling and cussing at the guy next to him, whose wife actually got him Uber, and of course texted me, "Hey, paying for my husband's ride, and his name is Brandon. So, long story short, as best I can here, the brother-in-law seemed like, he was the alpha, and he seemed like he was dominating and deciding where they were going to go. Like whether it be a place to get something to eat after getting out of the bar. Oh, by the way, it was a 3.1 surge trip. It was amazing. And I was a little content with a little bit of a misdirection guided by a guy who turned out to be the passenger, and the guy that was quiet, not really saying anything, well, it turned out to be this Brandon individual. So make it long story short, they got into a loud argument. I know the man possibly slugged him or something like that, because I heard something happened behind me. I didn't quite see it. So kind of anxious to watch the video, my in-car camera, and I have not. But I was recording at the time, and the guy spit at him as well in the car. Was crazy. He jumped out of the car, angry, and kept calling him on his phone and making threatening remarks to him. It was definitely not cool. And I don't know, it was just wild. But the one thing that I learned from that was to always know exactly who the person is who's paying for the ride, which particular rider is essentially being sponsored, I guess you could say, and to always defer to this particular individual for changes in the route, changes in direction where they want to go, if they want to change direction at all, or where they end up, or anything like that. I mean, an extra passenger with them, like a friend or a buddy or a relative or whatever, does not need to be steering the ship or navigating or telling you where to go. And believe me, I was doing my best to be professional and polite to both of them, but I almost drove both of them up to Birmingham PD, and who were both out in front of a location not too far from where I was. Anyway, just kind of freaked me out. It was like the first time some drama happened in my car. So the lesson learned was to narrow down who I actually need to be taking suggestions from, and to figure that out. The quiet guy was actually not being very talkative and kind of submissive to what the other guy was. Pardon me, not the company's the hour. And then of course, when it's just a little too strange, it's never wrong, or you feel as though something is about to happen and you just have a bad feeling and you're uncomfortable, it's never wrong to just pull over and take control. This is your vehicle. This is you're the captain of your ship. Even though you're using the Uber app and you got to abide by their rules and their terms of agreement, you gotta be able to take charge of that situation, drive them up near a police officer, ask them to get out very calmly, and tell them, let them know that you're canceling the trip because you don't like what's going on in your car. Don't know what it was over. Don't know whether it was the brother not wanting to give him money for something, or I don't know what was going on between the two of them. The one guy started yelling in Arabic to the other guy, and I was able to relate to the person who paid for the ride, this individual, his wife, over a speakerphone after we had dropped off, after the other guy had ran out of the car. So I was able to give her a clear picture of exactly what happened. And, I had told him that the ride was filmed and recorded and everything like that. And I told the person who paid for the ride the same thing. It was definitely an uncomfortable ride. I did everything I needed to do. The guy that got out was really angry. He slammed my door. So there was always a chance that he could have wrecked my car. So be hyper vigilant toward people that you're picking up. Today, went to a location, and because of miscommunication by my passenger, it was almost like he sent me to another location by text message instead of changing it in the app. So he canceled. That was tonight. And trying to think what the other one was. Oh, so this is like the first time I had this kind of a situation regarding a Bluetooth and the person wanting to hook their phone up to my car and things like that. Now, the ride was only like 5-6 blocks total. And I thought it was going to be, I'm usually on my game regarding my car, and I can, add a Bluetooth device, no problem. But it was raining tonight. I just accepted another ping halfway before dropping them off. Again, this is all this past night. And she was like in her early 20s and kind of understanding. She's like, I understand it's a short trip, and I apologize that I couldn't hook the device up. But, had to definitely explain, I cordially, I have received another ping. She wanted me to pull over, and while she can do it, and I'm like, no, unfortunately I can't. And she sort of acted a little abrupt with me, a little short-tempered when I did that. And all other trips tonight were pretty mellow. But it just goes to show that there are rules that you can set up, rules. Oh, I know what it was. There was another one regarding vape. And this is the first time I had this. Picked up the passenger, dropped him off not even 2 blocks away from where we were going. 2 blocks to the west. Had to drive about 4 or 5 blocks to the south and kind of flip back around to a restaurant, fast food restaurant, where he had to order food. So there were 2 things. One thing, while we ordered, the guy who was doing the ordering was very happy-go-lucky and just kind of carefree, and just, you can tell he had been drinking, and he asked me whether or not I would wait, and I told him I would. And again, it's raining tonight, so I'm trying to extend myself, a little customer service. And so he starts asking the restaurant drive-through window attendant, how he's doing. And he asked him like twice, to try to have some kind of rapport with the guy or whatever. Well, the guy wasn't really having it, and he kept saying, fine, go ahead with your order. So those are moments where, you know, I kind of weighed in. You know, I said, you know, so like, you know, guys, you know, you ordered one thing and then you changed it, and you know, that kind of a thing. And just wanted to let them know that I was paying attention to what they were doing. And I didn't tell them I had received another ping, but they clearly saw me accept the ping. And those are moments where you got to kind of decide quick what you want to do. Because at first they just wanted me to drop them off there to get the food so they can go back home. But again, since it's raining, they were willing to pay. They were willing to, you know, have me keep the app on. I did that. So that was kind of weird. But anyway, while we were waiting in the drive-thru line, the gentleman that was not ordering, that was next to him, starts to do the vape, you know. And I'm like, well, we don't, you know, I don't really care for vaping in the car, you know, and just kind of casually explain it to him, and he understood. But it was one of those moments where, wow, you know, here's a couple circumstances where, you know, definitely not a normal night where people are trying to, you know, yesterday or on Wednesday morning late, the guy tried to get in the car with an open beer. You know, had to check him on that, you know, and he had dumped it out and things. And, you know, it's one of those things where people are definitely beginning to take advantage and will try to take advantage, period. You don't kind of lay down the line and let them know what you're going to be okay with and what you're not. So, anyway, that was just it. Just wanted to report tonight's activities, and which were basically pretty good. You know, I ended up getting sort of a long trip from the Pleasant Ridge area, which is near 696 and Woodward. Well, Main Street area down by 9 Mile and stuff like that. You know, it's just not. It was definitely a good trip. I mean, it was like a little bit of a longer trip. And that was nice. A couple were, you know, really appreciated the couples, you know, back and forth, and we had a good exchange. And it was cool. You know, I had a pretty good time conversationally with my riders. Anyway, that's what I want to report tonight. Remember, you're taking direction from the people who are paying for the ride, or the people who are paying for the ride, and especially the people who, you know, if they're the person that the ride is bought for, that person becomes the authority figure. And usually what I do, and I had this the other night where I had the guy call his buddy and say, hey, is it okay if we deviate and go to another location? Because he was thinking about going to another hotel versus this original drop-off point that was in the app. And finally he did get a hold of the guy, and the guy's like, yeah, go ahead and, you know, just, it was good. You know, it was good for that. Anyway, just wanted to brief you guys about that stuff, and, you know, definitely be on your game out here. Head on a swivel. Make sure you're getting acquainted with the other passengers and other people that are getting in your car, asking first names and stuff like that, just in case. So you have some way to remember them. Like this other guy, his name was, we'll just say O, you know, the guy that was really getting loud and getting difficult and stuff. But I did not call Uber on it. Guy didn't seem like he wanted to press charges or contact the police. Well, he told me he didn't want to contact the police. But anyway, have a good rest of your night. I know it's been a long video, but these are things that pop up. Gotta offer them up. Gotta share them with you guys. Okay, be safe driving out there the rest of this weekend. Stay warm and stay alert, stay vigilant, and have a safe and good rest of your weekend. Like, comment, subscribe if you like the video. Please leave a comment or two. Let me know what I'm doing wrong, what I'm doing right. Hey, feel free to be open and honest. So, all right. Have a good weekend. Detroit Driver Blue is out. Peace.